What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here for yet another live stream. Leeds this weekend, just before the international break. So I don't really want to. I feel like we shouldn't speak about Leeds today. It's just, it's just a bit of a frustrating time at this moment. But look, still positive. Still,
only one loss.
Yeah, exactly. Only one loss, sitting fourth in the league. So we can't be too down on ourselves. It's just a bit of a. I'll say it's just a bit boring at the moment. That's just what it is.
We're just waiting for the real meat of the season to kick in. The international breaks. We still don't know how to judge Frank or the team just yet. It's called, we're getting decent results. Performances are very up and down at the moment. Sometimes quite boring, laborious, not exciting, but still getting decent results. But obviously we want to see a bit more from the team, but it's still very early on, so you don't know whether to expect more from the team. So it's a bit of a weird time to be a Spurs fan at the moment.
Yeah, and I think we should expect more from the Spurs team. But look, results going all right. A few bad ones in there, which got to be expected at the beginning when everyone's just feeding each other out at the moment. Want to know what the manager wants to do. He says he wants more attacking football. We want more attacking football. So hopefully we'll get more attacking football at some point soon. But look, don't get it twisted. This weekend is a very difficult game. Very difficult. Leeds haven't lost at home this season. They've drawn against Newcastle. They've drawn against Bournemouth. And they had a decent win against Everton as well. So 3 really good results for Leeds at home this season.
And they won away at Wolves not long ago, who we just drew to. So they've really done well this season since coming back to the Premier League. I think it surprised a lot of people. I thought they were going to struggle a lot more than they have done. Because I look at their squad, and I'm not saying it's bad. Look, this isn't a Leeds preview, but I'm just surprised that they've done a lot better than expected.
All right, look, there's a bit of, you thought you were past the transfer window, and you are, but the transfer window and the transfer news isn't stopping there, people. We've got a Tottenham update with some transfer news, and then we're going to get into our Premier League predictions of the weekend. So we're going to start off talking about Luca Williams-Barnett, as Spurs have officially announced that he has signed on the dotted line his first professional contract on the back of making his debut for Spurs in the Carabao Cup against Doncaster, balling it out for the under-21s this season. Now 17 years of age, and he has signed his first professional contract.
Great news. Let's hope he's got a bright future ahead of him. I think everyone's very excited about him. He's the next one on the in the kind of conveyor belt of talent that we have, that everyone is very, very excited. You're looking at players at the moment in the Premier League, similar age to Luca Williams-Barnett, who are making impacts, and it makes you think, maybe sooner rather than later you could get involved. He doesn't seem to be with the first team every week, so clearly they feel he needs a lot of development still to be playing anywhere near as much as the likes of like Rio for Liverpool or Dowman for Arsenal or WeAreTottenhamTV, these kind of players. So I don't know if he's there yet, but obviously he has made his debut, fairly bright against Doncaster. Every time you see him for the youth team, he seems to be absolutely too good for that level, if we're being honest. I don't know if you saw against Boda in the Champions League, he went on some crazy run from the halfway line. That was unbelievable. He's an exciting talent, and he's a Tottenham boy. You hear him talk about Spurs. When you hear him speak in interviews with such passion, and he's a proper Spurs fan. And hopefully he's got a long career ahead of him. But we've seen with Mikey Moore, obviously we put a lot of pressure on him. I'm not saying he's faltering or anything. I'm just saying we did put a lot of, he was the one kind of brought up as the next big thing, and I think there's still a lot of belief he is. But last season, he was in and out of the team and had to fight for minutes, and some games he just wasn't ready for, and then he's gone on loan to Rangers, hasn't quite worked for him. So you do need a lot of patience with these young players. Yeah,
to be fair with Mikey on the Rangers thing, I don't think it's worked for anyone at Rangers this season. They're having an absolutely shocking start to the season, and I think it's probably a bad place for him to be right now under all those circumstances, the fans against the manager, the fans against the board, and them just not doing well week in, week out. And I still have full belief Mikey is going to go on to really good things at Tottenham Hotspur. But the interesting thing, if you're comparing Mikey Moore to Luca Williams-Barnett, is that Mikey Moore never really had that period in the under-21s. Like, he went straight from the under-18s straight into the first team, where Luca Williams-Barnett last year smashed out the under-18s, this year already smashing out the under-21s. So he's making that good progression, it looks like.
Yeah. And You can look at it whether you like. The only thing I'm just trying to say is however exciting he is, players at this age, they all develop at different rates, and let's just be a bit patient. But it's super exciting. I'm delighted he signed, and let's hope he's got a long career ahead of him.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think we'll see him again in the first team this season?
I'll be surprised.
Yeah, maybe third round the FA Cup or something like that.
Yeah, maybe then. Look, you never know. Maybe that we have a spot of injuries and he gets an opportunity. You never know. Football. Look at like Rashford, how that happened for United. But at the moment, I find it hard to believe.
You know what, though? In that Carabao Cup game against Doncaster, for that disallowed goal, he was integral to that move, wasn't he? He actually made it.
Yeah, he did well. Very well.
But anyway, another player that is in advanced contract talks with Tottenham Hotspur is Rodrigo Bentancur, as The Athletic confirmed that Tottenham are very close to agreeing a new contract with Rodrigo Bentancur, whose current deal runs out at the end of the season. I mean, we've been hearing about these contract talks for so long now. The Athletic is saying now they are close to agreement. How do you feel about? I mean, there's a lot of talk about Rodrigo Bentancur at the moment, saying we need to look to move him on. We need a better midfielder in there. His ball progression through the middle of the park isn't good enough. We need people that can move the ball a bit better. I mean, where do you stand with it all?
I understand the criticism. It's a weird one. I think every time we seem to have a bad game as a team, he seems to bear a lot of the brunt of the criticism when he's on the pitch. I don't necessarily think a lot of it is down to him. I think a lot of it is down to the approach, to be honest, from the team. Because you look at Bentancur, when everyone's saying, he needs to have ball progression, but like a lot of the time there's no one really to pass it to. Like in terms of where the players are on the pitch, a lot of the time we're looking to build up out wide. Like if you actually take snapshots of where the players are, a lot of the time there's just a big hole in the middle. So it's not necessarily like he doesn't know how to progress it. A lot of the time he's lacking for options, but I do think there are sometimes he plays it too safe. He needs to look forward a bit more. I do agree with that. And I also think, obviously, him and Paulinho at the moment, some games, I don't know if we need both of them. I feel like we could do with maybe someone a bit more elite level on the ball in that defensive midfield position. A bit more of a deep line playmaker. Now, we don't have really one in the squad, right? And when you're talking about if you want to bring someone like that in, let's say I'm just throwing a name out there. Let's say it's like Ruben Neves. I think someone like him would be like great to like have in the squad.
Weren't we linked with him recently?
We were like a tentative link, but I'm just throwing his name out there as a type of player I would like. A deep line playmaker who can set the tone of a game. We don't really have that kind of profile. If you want to bring that in, then one of Bentancur or Paulinho really have to be the ones to leave because they're the ones who we're battling for. And we've got Gray obviously there as well. Let's say we want to give Gray more minutes. It's going to have to be in place of one of them. Obviously, Paulinho's in such a good job because of what he offers off the ball. It's night and day. Not night and day, but it's so much more, I would say, to what Bentancur offers off the ball. Bentancur offers a lot, but Paulinho is like in that elite category when it comes to the amount of duels he wins, tackles he wins, how strong he is, right? So, for me, I think Bentancur is going to have to show a lot closer to the levels that he's shown, like pre that injury. Still, we're still not quite there yet. As much as I think he shows flashes, and if we're offering him a new contract, I think it kind of, and that means maybe Paulinho is not staying long term. I feel like I don't know if we need both Paulinho and Bentancur in the squad. I feel like they both should be in the same kind of role, like a number 6, who we need as like a destroyer in certain games, but needs to be on the bench. And because we have both of them, I feel like it takes up a space in the squad where we could use that for a bit more of a deep line playmaker number 6 type, which I think we need. So I don't know whether it's to retain his value or maybe we feel like he's a very important member of the squad. He is going to get closer to that and he is going to improve some aspects of his game. I like Bentancur. I'm a big fan of his, but I just don't know if we need him and Paulinho. That's my feeling.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I do agree with that. And I feel like I've said it last week or a number of times now, like, I don't want to see these guys in the same midfield together unless we're playing like a Man City or Liverpool or Arsenal away. These kind of games, like at home against your Wolves, against Bournemouths. The experiment has come and gone now. Like we don't need to be playing these guys in the middle of the park. We need better players, whether it be better players on the ball, should I say, like an Archie Gray alongside a Paulinho, like a Bergval alongside a Bentancur. You know, I think for me, it's got to be one of them two. But then having said that, can you just keep them both as rotation options in that number 6, or do you want to see one of them go? And if one of them is going to go at this moment in time, if we're agreeing contract, does that mean that we're not going to take up Paulinho and that option, and we're going to bring in more of a deep line playmaker, like you're saying? Like, if I had the choice between the two, I think it's a no-brainer at this moment in time. I think you've got to pick a João Paulinho. Like, we've just never seen the consistency of Rodrigo Bentancur back since that injury. It's been quite a while now since he's been back fit. He should be back to his best, and you do see his best come out time to time. Like, I think he had a decent start to the season. Like, he hasn't been poor by any stretch of the imagination, but he just hasn't hit those levels that he's hit from before that start of an injury on a consistent basis. So we need to start seeing that more if he's going to make a stake claim to be here instead of João Paulinho. Mm-hmm. That's the honest truth. So we'll see what happens. It looks like he is about to sign a contract. So I don't know. Do you think that is more to retain a value and potentially get a fee in?
Either way, I think it's only a positive, really, signing contract, because whether you want to sell him or not, I think it makes sense either way to get him to sign.
All right, let's talk about some potential incomings, as Tutto Sport claim that Tottenham, West Ham and Nottingham Forest are interested in Parma's 23-year-old Argentinian striker Matteo Pellegrini. He scored twice in 5 games in the Serie A this season. However, the Italian club do not want to sell him before the summer and will fend off interest in January. Do you know much about him?
No, I don't know who he is. I can see last season he played 13 games and scored 4 goals. I mean, the season before that, to be fair, he had 25 games, scored 11 goals. Look, I don't know anything about this guy.
He scored 3 goals last season. He's already got 2 this season.
Sign him up. We've got, what was he, a striker?
Striker, yeah.
I mean, we've got 3 strikers at the moment. I don't see us adding a 4th one anytime soon, unless one of those 3. Obviously, Moani's out on loan. Rishi, maybe. Who knows what the future holds for him? Solanke's obviously got injury prone at the moment, but I don't see us in January going in for a striker.
Yeah. It looks like Parma don't want to sell either. Like, does anyone even know who he is? Like, 'cause before this update, I'd never heard of him.
Let me know in the chat comment. Let me know if you're a Parma fan, Italian football fan. Is this guy any good? Should we be looking at him? Got no idea.
Next up is the Bleacher Report saying that Thomas Frank wants Tottenham to sign and to look at Nathan Collins again from his old club, Brentford. Yeah, I mean, look, Nathan Collins is their captain now. They've literally been stripped to parts. But look, to be fair to them, they're doing quite well. They're doing better than I thought going into this season. I thought, they not dead certs, but I thought they would be, where kind of Wolves are at right now. And, Wolves are obviously shockingly bad, apart from the good point they got against Tottenham. But Brentford, they're going all right, aren't they?
They are. Jordan Henderson's playing very well, I feel, for fair play to Brentford. In terms of Nathan Collins, again, it depends on, obviously Takai's just returned to full fitness. Dragoshin, maybe after international break, maybe in the near future we'll start to see him. I guess a lot depends on those two, how they kind of adapt to playing under Frank, and how back up to speed they are, how quick they can get up to speed, how much they can make a difference. I think if both of them are way off it come January and they're just not really can be trusted, essentially, we might look to someone like a Collins, but I think it's really unlikely.
The thing is, I would have signed a centre-back in the summer, and I was quite upset that we didn't. But, I know we're only a few games into the season, but you look at what Vuskovic is doing in the Bundesliga already. Like, you don't want to sign even more centre-backs to block even more pathways, do you?
18 aerial duels won in one game.
Mate.
I've never heard anything like that in my life.
I think it's a record in the top 5 leagues.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
18 in one game. How does he not have a concussion? That's crazy.
Luka Vuskovic has got to be part of the first team next season. So, how can we sign another centre-back?
And he's doing that in the Bundesliga as well, which is, top league.
What I want to see is us probably just, if we're going to sign another centre-back, it has to be a loan in January. I don't want to sign another one.
I don't think we will.
Bleacher Report again are claiming that Bournemouth remain adamant that they're not going to sell Antoine Semenyo, even though he has interest from Villa, City, United, and Tottenham. Semenyo has been directly involved in 6 goals this season in 7 matches for Bournemouth. I mean, we spoke a lot about him in the summer, didn't we? And we both said, really good player, but we would have preferred someone like Brian Mbeumo, someone like that. I mean, Semenyo.
Yeah,
he has gone on leaps and bounds at the start of this season. I think he's been fantastic. One of the best players in the Premier League so far this season.
Getting better and better.
Yeah.
Getting better and better. So that's a good sign. That shows the quality of him. He seems very settled. The problem, obviously, look, forget January. I don't think January's happening. If you wanted to sign him in the summer, he just signed a new contract. So there was talk about 70 million for him in the summer. Has that gone up now, potentially? So are we going to be prepared to spend 80, 90 million on him? I mean, if he continues the season he's having, maybe you could say he could be worth that, to be fair. But I think he's brilliant. He'll solve a problem for us. But look, who knows? Maybe this is a new Tottenham, to be fair. I'm talking about like we're still Levy in charge and we don't. So maybe we would be prepared to spend that money.
The thing is, right, the problem I have with this one is Arsenal. Because I think Trossard's going to be leaving in the summer probably. They're probably going to be looking for another winger. He's gone on record literally every time he speaks or when everyone asks him saying he's an Arsenal fan, he's going to want to end up there. And I got a horrible feeling if Spurs go hard for him, we've got another Eze situation on our hands.
No, we don't want that, do we? So don't even bother going.
That's what I feel with Semenyo. I do think he's going to end up leaving in the next 6 months.
6 months?
Sorry, by the summer.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think unless Bournemouth somehow get Champions League or something, I think he'll be going.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I do fear that it will be Arsenal. And if they add him to their wingers, oh my God. All right, next one. Caught Offside is saying that Tottenham are among the leading candidates to sign Crystal Palace's defender Mark Guehi as a free agent in 2026 or on the cheap in January. I mean, it does feel like he's like a dead cert to join Liverpool.
Yeah, I think we want him, but I just don't think he comes to us. Doesn't make he's not even necessarily first choice. He goes to Liverpool the way Kanata is playing right now. He literally slots in next to Van Dijk immediately.
Yeah.
Right now for Tottenham, we've got Romero Van de Ven there. I don't think he wants to go anywhere if he's not going to be first choice.
Nah, I think he goes to Liverpool. I think it's pretty much set in stone.
Chelsea. I don't know why Chelsea aren't interested. Chelsea should be.
I just feel like it's set in stone for him to go to Liverpool. Like.
Obviously, he had a medical already.
Yeah, you got the Konate thing. And even on top of the Konate thing, Van Dijk's not getting any younger, is he? Like, they got to think of succession plans for him as well. So I think Liverpool are going to be in the market for not one, but probably multiple centre-backs in the next, from January to the summer. And I think Mark Guehi has already, agreed personal terms. He's already was about to move there in the summer. So, yeah, I think he's going to go there.
Yeah, we ain't getting Mark Guehi.
And last but not least, let's talk about Pepe Valverde. Our favourite publication from Spain called Fichajes say that Tottenham are eyeing up a shock move to sign Real Madrid star Federico Valverde in January. Tottenham want to add muscle and quality to their midfield department, and the report from Spain suggests that the club would be willing to invest a significant sum to bring Valverde, who is currently on £345,000 a week, for Thomas Frank.
How much? 400?
345.
345. People in the chat are saying boycott the stream over this story. So I think we know how they feel about this. Yeah,
I'm told he's having a stinker this season for Real Madrid.
So we're gonna. I don't even know. I'm speechless about Valverde. I mean, he would be a statement signing, of course, but he's not coming to Madrid to us. It's just fanciful talk. It's not going to happen in a million years. So. Very different circumstances. For Jahez, we love you. Keep pumping. Yeah, I love the rumours they bring out, but just don't ever.
I feel like they've got like one of those spinning wheels, right? And they've got 2 in their offices. They've got one with clubs and one with players, and they just spin it They spin both.
Really could be anything.
Yeah, literally. And whoever it lands on, today it was Spurs and Valverde. Tomorrow it's going to be like Saka and Real Madrid. You know what I mean? Like they'll just spew anything out for Juckers,
We don't
literally.
believe you anymore. Don't believe you anymore. Maybe this is a new Tottenham, a new era, a brave new world.
Bigger picture.
The big picture, exactly. Maybe this is it. This is what everything has been geared towards.
Yeah, maybe. But we'll see. We'll see. That is the Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding any of the news stories we have talked about today. We are going to move on and we are going to get to our Premier League predictions.
A quick super chat.
Oh, go on, get to that.
This is a quite good one. Wibbers says, it looks like Bentancur, Pellegrino are turning into Spurs' Lampard and Gerrard. Both incredible talents, but you can't have them together.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that analogy.
They're just a better version of Højbjerg and Winks.
Exactly. Højbjerg and Winks. Although Bentancur and Højbjerg had a good... They had a good partnership going when they were together with Conte. That kind of worked. How they would do, or how they played. That kind of double pivot.
It worked for like 6 months. Kind of.
Well, Bentancur, that was his best, wasn't he? In his second season, Conte's second season, that was when Bentancur was really at his best.
Yeah.
And he was flying it. Remember how good he was in the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
The World Cup, he was absolutely phenomenal.
The injury killed him, man. Unfortunately.
Yeah, but I don't understand how people say he can't play forward. Like, did you not see him in that period? Like, that guy can play forward. Like, trust me, he's not just this safe passer. He can play forward.
But he has been since the injury.
I agree. I'm just saying. But I watch videos sometimes, and people like, he can't do this. Like Bentancur, it won't work here. He never plays forward. He can't play forward. I'm like, he can.
It's been a long time though.
He can do it. He just needs to get it. You just need to get it out of him.
Yeah, but like, if Ange can't get it out of him, like, you need. It's been how many managers now since we've seen that? It's been Conte, plenty of interim managers, Ange, and now Thomas Frank. Like, I really do like Bentancur, but there is a part of me that feels like
it's a bit harsh to say Frank can't get out of him when it's been a few games.
And don't get me wrong, like, I feel like he is still playing well. I don't think he's playing bad. Like, I see a lot of people on social media being like, this guy is putting stinker in after stinker after stinker. Well, I don't think that's the case. Like, I do think he's played fairly well for the most part this season, but it is something that we're clearly missing in the middle of the park.
I don't disagree, but the way you put it across, how many managers, like, he was recovering from an injury when he came back for Ange. Even last season, he had loads of problems. He had the ban, concussions.
Yeah.
Like, it was a very stop-start season for him even last season. And this season's only just started. It hasn't even been bad. And you can't really say conclusively Frank can't get it out of him just after a few games.
We'll see. We'll see. He's about to sign a new contract, so it looks like we're going to have to see for the foreseeable future. But look, let's move on and let's go to our Predict the Prem. Just before the second round of internationals this season, Sim is on 37 points. I'm on 42 points. The way the scoring works is 5 points for a completely correct scoreline, 1 point for a correct result on the star man. Once you pick that man, you cannot pick them again for the rest of the season. And we start off on Friday night football at the Vitality, Bournemouth against Fulham. Both of us have gone for Bournemouth wins. Sim's gone for 3-1. I've gone for 2-1.
Yeah, Fulham haven't been so good away from home. Bournemouth still going strong, got such attacking talent. I feel like Fulham, they're one of these teams that they're a very good, clever tactical team, but I just feel like they're lacking the quality. And when they come up against a Bournemouth side who are going to put them under pressure, they're going to press them, it's going to be a bit chaotic. I don't know if Fulham will be able to handle it. So I've gone for 3-1.
Yeah, I've gone for 2-1. I feel like Bournemouth are doing really well this season. Really enjoy watching them play. Semenyo, that we spoke about before, what a player he is, and he's definitely going to be have an impact. I'm liking like players like Scott. They're just doing so well this season, Bournemouth, and I just can't see Fulham going to the Vitality and getting anything. Like you say, haven't been doing great away from home, but Bournemouth, home and away, producing the goods. Next up, what is it?
Leeds versus Spurs.
Oh, Leeds versus Spurs.
Wrong bird.
Leeds versus Tottenham Hotspur. Sim's gone for 1-0 to Spurs. I have gone for 2-1 to Spurs. I don't think this is going to be an easy game. This is not going to be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. Like, Leeds have unbeaten so far at home this season, 2 draws against decent opposition. They got a win against Everton as well, who are going really well this season. Yeah, it's going to be a big battle at Ellen Road. You know how it is with the stadium, with their fans going to get right on top of you and do everything they can to put you off. And Spurs have got to show a bit of grit in this game to get away with the 3 points. And I think our quality will just about shine through with how strong we are at set pieces. I think will stand us in good stead. I want to see Archie Gray play in his old stomping ground. I think, yeah, he knows that pitch really well, and I feel like, well, with his ball progression through the middle of the park, always looking to make something happen, I'd like to see him play. But yeah, I'm going 2-1.
I'm going 1-0. I'm going clean sheet. I think if Romero's back, especially, I think Leeds, as well as they've been doing, they're not big goal scorers. I think we should have the quality in the back line to shut them out, especially the way we've been defending most games this season. I think it's going to be a struggle, though. I think for how we're attacking at the moment, how we're building up, how we're keeping possession, not pretty. And I think we are struggling in certain facets of the game. But set piece, hopefully, something, a bit of Kudus magic on the right-hand side, and Tottenham get the win 1-0. So I'm going for a very tight game, but Spurs to shade it.
Arsenal, West Ham, London derby at the Emirates. Sim's gone for 3-0.
Yeah, I know Nuno's newly in charge of West Ham, but Arsenal just seem to be going from strength to strength at the moment, full of confidence at home. West Ham's defence, I look at their back line, I think Arsenal will be licking their lips with it. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Eze and Odegaard both start for the first time together. And I think Arsenal are going to take them to the cleaners, so I've gone 3-0.
Yeah, I've just gone for 2-0. Like, I was watching Arsenal last night in the Champions League, and again, they didn't really fill me with too much confidence in terms of the way they play their football and the way they can consistently hurt the opposition. And I think Nuno with West Ham is going to be a much different proposition than what it was with Graham Potter. He's going to get them sitting in. He's going to get them really defensively sound. And yeah, I know it's early days and it's going to maybe take a while to implement it, but I think the players are going to be really happy playing for Nuno. And you might see a few signs of being quite solid and being hard to beat. And Arsenal at times can struggle against kind of low blocks, and I think that's what probably West Ham are going to do here at the Emirates. But yeah, Arsenal got more than enough quality to break them down from a set piece and from a goal from open play as well. So I think 1 from open play, 1 from a set piece, and they'll win the game 2-0. Next up is Manchester United against Sunderland. Sim gone for 2-1 to United. I've gone for 2-2. Another club that I've been really impressed with so far this season in Sunderland. They made a host of signings, didn't they? Crazy amount of signings in the summer. And it seems like they've all just come in, hit the ground running, and they're doing really well. That striker that they've got, Isidore, I don't even think he did too well in the Championship last year, but he's really done so well at the start of the Premier League campaign. Manchester United, I mean, it looks as though Amorim is pretty much going to get fired. Maybe it might happen over this international break, or it might happen when it's just past the year, because I think it will cost a lot less in compensation package for Ruben Amorim. But it looks like he's on his last legs regardless. And yeah, I can't see any good results coming from Man United in the next couple of weeks. And I think Sunderland can go to Old Trafford and get a point.
I've just gone for them to get a lucky last-minute penalty win, United, and an unconvincing win. I think at home, I think that, to be fair to United, performances at home haven't been too bad, as much as they've overall not been good. But, they played quite well against Arsenal. Burnley, they just about won, but they won. Chelsea, they won that game. So I think Amorim will get another stay of execution. It'll be unconvincing. I think Sunderland will probably deserve something out of the game, but I think United, bit of luck on their side, and they'll win the game 2-1.
They made some really good signings, didn't they? Like Granit Xhaka in the middle of the park, such a good signing for them. Mukiele as well, I think started life well at Sunderland as well. Like,
only 4 goals conceded.
Did they sign Geertruida in the end?
Yeah,
they did. Like how are they signing all these players? It's
brilliant.
Mad.
Brilliant summer, and they've settled quite quickly, and that's the main thing. When you make all those signings, the quicker you can get them to settle, all of a sudden, they're looking like, everyone was worried they're going to be in a relegation battle. They're already, you could say they're already a third of the way there of safety. Because in this day and age, it's usually like 35 points, not even, like to stay safe. They're already on 11, so fair play.
But Man U, on the other hand, like, it's absolutely madness what Amorim is doing. Let's be real. Like, we had a chat about it at the start of the season. I was like, nah, he needs time. But I think you're absolutely spot on. Like, the guy, he is an absolute fraud. Like,
crazy.
He's an absolute fraud. The guy is doing the same thing game by game, week in, week out. The same results are happening. And he just doesn't change anything up, personnel or system.
How they got absolutely done by Brentford last week as well, by a manager who's in his first job after being a set piece coach, tactically completely done. They've taken Cunha and Mbeumo to the shining lights in the Premier League last season, and they made them look like average players all of a sudden. Like, you can't take two of the Premier League's top goal scorers and they just turn that bad overnight.
Yeah.
Clearly, he's absolutely flaming. They couldn't even beat Grimsby in the cup. They just lost to Grimsby. Like, this guy, it's only a matter of time. I think there's only a matter of time now before they look somewhere else. But I wonder who they look at. Glasner, maybe? Do they get him out of Palace? Do they try their best?
If I'm Glasner, I'm staying at Palace over going to Man United. Like, seriously.
I don't know. I think he might go.
He might go, but I'm saying if I was Glasner, I'm staying at Crystal Palace. Like, he's got a really good thing. I know he's lost his best player year after year, but
That's the thing. That's how he's going to look at it.
He might look at it like that, but he gets better year after year.
It's true. I mean, Marco Silva, maybe. Do you look at him?
I think Marco Silva could jump ship, yeah.
Iraola, there's a lot of talk of him, but I think they've already started drawing up a list.
Probably.
Although publicly they keep saying they're backing him, but I don't know how long they can keep backing this.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's even had injury problems or anything. They've had their full team.
And you look at all these players that have come in and out of Manchester United, right? And when they're in the Premier League, the whole Premier League are laughing at him. The Man United fans saying, yeah, this player's not good enough. Anthony goes out to Spain to Real Betis and does really well. Højlund, he's out at Napoli under Conte now doing really well.
Yeah, just got breaks yesterday.
You know what I mean? Like, these players are good players. They just can't work under the circumstance at Manchester United.
Whatever's happening there, and it's an absolute mess. And I think Amorim will be another casualty. But this weekend, I reckon he might get a bit of reprieve. Although I wouldn't be shocked if they don't win. Who would be at this point? When you're just about beating Burnley at home in these games, like, you can drop points in any game, really, at this point.
Chelsea against Liverpool at Stamford Bridge. Two teams not really having the best time of it at this moment. 2-1 we've both gone for.
Talking about the team who's top of the league.
I know, but they're not. Like, they're not playing well this season, Liverpool. As much as we've both gone for 2-1 to Liverpool, as much as like they're getting these last-minute winners, I haven't seen much in Liverpool to tell me like they're playing really well, because they're not.
They're not playing well in regards to they're playing a very attacking brand of football, very open. They're conceding chances. And I think the problem at the moment is their attack. Look, to be fair, their attack is still getting the job done, but it's only just about for most of the games. Obviously, they haven't won a game, have they? Unless it's been in the last...
Well, they've lost their last 2 games.
I know, but they haven't won a game unless it's been in the last 5 minutes, have they? Every game they've won has been just about.
Every game they've lost as well. Well, not Galatasaray.
Well, yeah, true. So every game has been going down to the wire. I think right now it's bad, but you got to remember Wirtz hasn't properly clicked yet, and I do think that's coming.
007, mate.
I know, but it's coming. I watch him, and I'm impressed every time I see him. I know people like to clown on him because of his price tag. And look, to be fair, he hasn't got any goals to assist, and there are stuff he is struggling with. But trust me, this guy is going to click. And
but it's not their attack that they're struggling with, though.
It is, because they're not creating enough chances to blow teams away, and they're playing a very attacking brand of football. And Isaac hasn't clicked yet as well. Once those two start to click, they're going to be a different prospect. They're going to be scoring 3 or 4 goals a game. Right now, it's like they're scoring 1 or 2, it seems, and they're conceding a goal, and they're just about getting over the line late in games. But I do think once that attack really starts to click, they're going to be a much better proposition. I think it's coming. I do think it's coming. I think they will win this game. I think Chelsea have been even more unimpressive. But I also think he's got to work out their frailties at the back at the moment, because they do definitely seem too open. They definitely seem to be... I think there's a few dynamics they're struggling with. I think Trent used to do this inverted role last season. At the moment, it's like Szoboszlai is kind of doing it, but they kind of need him in midfield. Frimpong, I don't know about the dynamic of Frimpong and Kerkez completely changes this team, because it means if they're both flying forward, then last season you had kind of Trent in the inverted role, not flying forward, so you always had an extra man back. But if Frimpong's going to be there, they need to change the dynamic somehow. And I don't think he's worked out yet.
I haven't been that impressed with Frimpong. However, like, I've been impressed with Kerkez. Like, Kerkez's last couple of games has really come on.
Yeah, because I feel like Kerkez does the same job Robertson does, so nothing much changes on that side. But Frimpong does a very different job to what Trent does. So they need to he needs to fiddle with the dynamic there. He needs to just change a few things. Right now, he hasn't quite figured out, he hasn't got the right balance.
Yeah, I feel like Frimpong's leaving them even more open on that side than Trent used to.
Yeah. That's why he's preferred Szoboszlai in a lot of games, because he does the inverted role that Trent used to do.
Yeah.
But then they miss what Szoboszlai brings them in midfield. So
there was times like at Bayer Leverkusen with Frimpong where they wouldn't even play him at right back. They'd play him like at right wing, you know. And I think for the Dutch national team, he's done that as well. So I mean, he's not a defensive right back, that's for sure. Like, he's not a defender.
True, and you could say Trent wasn't a defensive right back as well, but he did things in a very different way. He was always quite controlled, whereas Frimpong's kind of 100 miles an hour, getting to the byline constantly. So I just think, look, Slot's made a lot of new signings. They've put bedding a lot of new players in the team. They're still winning games. I just think once he gets a few dynamics correct, and once he makes a few tweaks, I think they're going to be fine. Right now, it's not quite right, and that's why they're struggling to control games like they were maybe last season. But Chelsea can't stop getting red cards.
What is going on with that?
And I think
was it 3 red cards in the last 3 games, is it?
And they've barely played well in any game this season. Apart, you can say the West Ham game, but even that game, they won. But
I think whoever oversaw Chelsea's transfer business this summer needs to be sacked. Seriously, like, they're in a worse position now in terms of squad depth, in terms of squad quality, than they were last season. I think Nicholas Jackson probably still sees minutes in the team right now, particularly.
Jackson will be starting right now.
Yeah, like, Jackson will be playing. You've got Noni Madueke, who is better than any of the wingers that they've brought in Garnacho and
he would also be playing
Gittins.
right now. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, these kind of players at which they were so quick to get rid of and so happy to get rid of, still get significant minutes in the team that they've got now. And they've brought in these kind of, you know, Garnacho, who hasn't done much yet. Gittins, I think every time he's played, he's been pretty poor. Esteval looks good. He's the only one that looks good, but he's a kid.
17?
Yeah, he's a kid. So you can't really rely on him. So I think whoever oversaw Chelsea's transfer business is, you know, they need the sack man. But look, they keep getting red cards. They haven't won in their last 3 games. So they really need to step it up quick.
Yeah, and I don't think it comes in this game. I think they're going to struggle again. And they seem to have poor starts to games. They seem to... I think Maresca likes control, and he's struggling with that. And actually, I agree with you. I just don't think they've improved the squad this summer. So I don't know how they can expect to improve where they were.
And without Palmer, they just look like nothing, don't they?
Because at the moment, without Palmer, they're having to drop like João Pedro back, but they need him up front at the moment. So they're kind of playing maybe Enzo in that number 10. I don't know. It's not working at the moment. Could do with Xavi Simons, I would say.
Don't worry, they got Buonanotte. Next up is Aston Villa against Burnley. Both us gone for 2-1 wins to Aston Villa. They got their first win of the season last time out, and expecting them to do it again against a Burnley side who I'm out of the 3 promoted sides, they're obviously the worst ones at this moment in time, and I do fully expect them to go straight back down. 2-1 to Villa.
Yeah, I think they're starting to get their act together a bit, Villa. 2 wins in a row now, so in Europa League and Premier League. So hopefully they're starting to get away from that really horrible start to the season, which they had results-wise. Watkins got that goal last week as well. So obviously that was a big moment for him. He's kind of not looked confident so far, so that goal was big. I'm still not convinced by them. I don't know if they're going to go on some big, going to go on a long run to get them back in European contention. I think it could be a season where they're mired in mid-table, but obviously they've gotten away from that. Any talk of relegation, which is important. They'll be all right. But yeah, Burnley. I can't see them getting anything from this game.
Burnley have, they've had a really hard start to the season in terms of away games. They've played Man City, Man United and Tottenham. Lost all three. Tottenham and Man City were really convincing. Man United was 3-2. And I can't see them going to Villa Park and getting anything. So I think 2-1 will be actually a decent result for them, to be honest, and not get battered. So next up is Everton against Crystal Palace. We've both gone for 1-1 in this game. Everton at their new stadium, the Hill Dickinson Stadium, they conceded their first goal and dropped their first points, I believe, last time out against West Ham, which I thought Everton should have been out of sight by the time the second half came, and then West Ham came into it and got a draw. This time they got Palace, who were going really well this season. Glasner's going to...
18 games, is it, unbeaten?
Yeah, it's crazy. And I do see them extending it here. But I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if Everton do end that, because they are very strong, particularly at home. Jack Grealish is doing unbelievable work out on that left-hand side. I think it's Dewsbury Hall. He's out for this game, isn't he? He's suspended.
Suspended, which is ridiculous, but yeah.
Yeah, but he's suspended. They've got decent players, Everton, and I think Moyes have got them playing really well. So I wouldn't be surprised if they win, but I just erred on the side of caution. This game just seems like it's got 1-1 written all over it.
Yeah, 100%. I think both good enough to get a goal with the resources they have, but I also think both teams won't be so unhappy with a draw in this game. Palace away from home and Everton playing at home against a good team like Palace, who are obviously in Europe and for third in the league as going into this weekend. So I had a brilliant start to the season. I think those three big centre-backs that Palace have, it's going to be so tough for Everton to break that down, and I think they're going to struggle to create chances. And I think Palace likes to play on the counter-attack, and I don't think Everton are going to leave loads of space for Palace either. So I think both teams will find a goal from their bit of quality, but I think it's going to be on as even.
Would you take Ndiaye and Grealish over Kudus and Odegaard? Because I would.
Ndiaye and Grealish over Kudus and Odegaard.
Yeah, I think they got better wingers than us, starting with.
You can make that case. Yeah, I mean, I'll take Grealish over Odegaard. I don't think I'll take Ndiaye over Kudus.
Yeah, I mean, as a pair.
Yeah, maybe.
I think I would. I said it in the summer that I don't want Grealish. You don't know what Grealish you're getting. But after seeing him and seeing what he's done, I mean, it's a massive mistake for us not to get him. It's got to be.
He's looking absolutely on fire at the moment.
Madness. Absolute madness. Next up is Newcastle against Nottingham Forest. Ange Postecoglou still in search for his first win as Forest boss. Sim's gone for 3-2. I've gone for 3-1. I think Voltmader's looking really strong for Newcastle. Gordon's back. Got 2 goals from their penalty spot last night in the Champions League. And I can't see anything but a pretty convincing win for Newcastle, to be honest, particularly because they're at home. If it was at City Ground, I think I would have gone for a bit of a closer game. But Newcastle, I think, starting to click into gear a little bit. So 3-1.
Yeah, obviously both teams also playing in Europe, so that plays a factor. I think Forest have been a bit unlucky in a few of their games so far, which they haven't won. But I think Newcastle, St James's is such a tough place to go. They're so strong. Obviously, Livramento being injured, he's going to be out for a while, is a massive blow. They were very unlucky last week against Arsenal, right at the last minute, conceding that goal. But the second time they've done that, did against Liverpool as well. But we know at home, St James's, they're so intense, they're so strong. They're going to look to bully this Forest side. I think Forest, I've seen so far under Ag, they are starting to play some really good football, looking confident on the ball. And I can see them creating some chances, considering they got a few injuries, Newcastle. But I think Newcastle are going to come out on top, and I think they're going to be too strong. So I'm going 3-2.
Yeah, but you got to say, I think the draw away at Betis in the Europa League is a decent result. Right? But the 3 other results that they've had in the last 4 have been nothing short of disastrous. Like 1-0 at home to Sunderland, 1-1 away at Burnley, and then that 3-2 loss, 2-0 up against Swansea in the Cup. This has been a really bad start for Ange at Forest.
Results-wise, yeah. I think if you're looking at the results, 100%. I've been watching a few of their games. They look quite good, but then again, we've said that a lot of times at Spurs.
That's what I'm saying,
And it didn't work out. But look, I said when he came, I predicted it was going to be a slow start for him because he's coming mid-season. It's tough to change it completely like he's trying to do. I think it was a mad decision to do at that time.
But where are these points coming from? You've got Newcastle away, Chelsea at home, Bournemouth away. You've got Man United, Leeds, Liverpool away. I mean, they've got some really hard games coming up.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not my problem anymore. But I think he's good. I think he'll get points. He'll get some wins. And they're playing well. And I think they've got good players. I think it'll start to click for them. I really believe that. Not in this game, though. I think they'll lose. I think they'll win in midweek. I think they'll probably win that Europa League game. But I don't think they beat Newcastle. But they got good players, man. They do have a good players and good team. You've got to remember, the last game before he took over, they lost 3-0 at home to West Ham.
Yeah.
With Nuno in charge. It's not like they were in great form.
Yeah. I mean, weren't they on decent form before that, though?
I'm saying he just lost 3-0 at home to West Ham under Graham Potter. That's Graham Potter's West Ham.
Yeah, it's true. But, I mean, Forest dominated that game, didn't they? And then they lost in the last few minutes. And you could say that same thing's been happening since then. Like, Forest have been creating chances. But I don't know, man. It's not looking good at this moment in time. How long until these results continue? Until Forest fans being like, you know what, I've seen enough.
I think a lot of them are already getting frustrated, but that's mainly because they sacked a manager who was, doing all right, in terms of the job he did last season, and then this season. I mean, it wasn't like disastrous. Obviously, they'd lost to West Ham, but there was already talking of leaving before that. There was already rumbling. So the whole thing, from a Forest fan's point of view, was like there was no real need to do what they did. So obviously, when the new guy comes in, there's going to be some pushback.
But you gotta love it though. Ever since Marinakis says I always win, he's only won one game.
Brilliant.
He should change that. I always lose.
Fantastic.
Marinakis, eat that, Marinakis. Is that the last game? Wolves against Brighton up next. Sim's gone for 1-1.
Gone for 1-1
at Molineux.
Yeah, at home. I think. Look, Wolves showed that against Spurs, they're not a bad side. I don't think they're as bad as their results have shown. They've got some good players, very physical team as well. I think Pereira, that buoyed by that draw against Tottenham, they would take heart in that. And I think Brighton coming there, it's going to be a difficult game because I think Brighton can struggle against physicality sometimes. So I think it's going to be a tight, physical game. I've gone for Wolves to take a point, 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see anything but a Brighton win. I know they got a decent result against Spurs on the weekend, and maybe it can, lift the spirits and put a bit of confidence in them going into this game. But I think the way that Brighton play, they're going to break them down and they're going to score quite a few goals. Brighton, you never know which kind of Brighton side is going to turn up, though, do you? They're such an inconsistent team at times, but I feel against this Wolves team, they will break them down and get a convincing win. So I've gone for 3-1. Brentford against Manchester City next. We've both gone for City wins. Sim's gone for 3-1. I've gone for 3-2. I mean, Man City is such a peculiar team, man. Like, they can look so good and then so frail all at the same time, where Haaland is just pulling up monstrous numbers as always. Like, the work that Haaland's doing is like kind of getting undone every game. It must be. You saw him in the post-match yesterday. He just looks so angry and frustrated at the situation. And I think they'll get a win here, but I think it's going to be a bit of a basketball game end to end. I think Brentford can hurt this kind of struggling Man City defence, but yeah, I think Haaland and co will grab them the win.
Yeah, I think they're going to be too strong. I think it's going to be a convincing win for Man City. I know Brentford are playing well under their new manager and had a decent start. They do seem to have a very specific way of attacking, which is get Henderson in on the ball deep in their own half and go long to either Sade or what's his name, Thiago. And it worked against Chelsea and it worked against in the last game against United. And I think it might work once in this one. I don't think it's going to work more than that. And I still think defensively there still can see goals. And I think City should come out convincing winners in this one, 3-1.
All right, star men. Sim has gone for Ollie Watkins. He's played his Ollie Watkins card.
Yeah, I think got the goal against Fulham last time at home, against Burnley now. Hopefully that confidence will start to flow through him. And it's a lot of times with strikers, it's momentum, isn't it? And it's confidence. And I think getting that first goal is big. So I'm backing him to score again.
Yeah, I've gone for Voltmader of Newcastle. They play Forest at home, expecting a lot of goals. And yeah, I think he'll be in the thick of the action. He's been so impressive, hasn't he?
it's weird. He's scored. I haven't been that impressed with him apart from the goals, but obviously got a nice goal against Arsenal, scored against Wolves.
I think he's just such a handful as well. Like, he's such a physical presence up there. I think like his physical battles that he's having with the centre backs, you know, he's always something to worry about.
Yeah, and he is very tall, and he is a handful. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see if he keeps his goal scoring rate up.
Yeah. All right, so that is that for Predict the Prem, and that is for our stream today. Thank you everyone for joining us today. We'll see you all tomorrow for the Leeds previews. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.